look, I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. I've been very clear about that. I think she's empty-headed and really quite moronic. However, there is 0 point in offering man after man after man to call her the devil, evil, suggest she's got a pimp. Like, this is totally counterproductive. You're already hemorrhaging women on this campaign, and the goal a week out is to get more people to vote for Donald Trump, not fewer. Trump's message didn't have any of that. He was right on brand. He started it beautifully. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And pretty much stayed on message his entire remarks and did say a lot of uplifting things. He was not well served by the people who came before him, who seem to have forgotten that they were there to get votes and not to just pound beers and say incendiary things at the local pub.
Yeah, you went on to say, because you're right, it wasn't, all the focus and all the headlines are about this comedian and this joke, but there were a lot of other men up there saying a lot of pretty crazy things, calling her the Antichrist. Again, you just said, saying that, implying she's a prostitute, saying she is, quote, pimp handlers. You actually said on your podcast that they gave themselves a black eye and questioned, do they not have any women advising their campaign? Clean up the bro talk and just don't alienate women in the middle of America who are already on the fence about Republicans.
That's right. And I'm not talking about people like the ones who show up at his rallies who already love Trump and will walk over broken glass to vote for Trump. At this point, with it as tight as it is, and it is still tight, Trump has not won this thing, not by a long shot. You've got to get as many votes as humanly possible. And there is absolutely no point in doing or saying anything that would alienate these key voting blocks, including Hispanics and blacks and women. I mean, I don't think this is going to have a material effect on Trump's chances. I really don't. But why take the risk? How is that smart? And you look at the lineup at the RNC, Elizabeth, it was much more uplifting. They had a better balance of male to female. Those middle American women who used to vote Republican could see themselves on the stage. Not at that MSG rally. No, they could not. They saw a lot of guys who talk about women in a way that's really caustic.
So how did it happen? Here's what I don't get. Everybody's remarks were loaded into teleprompter. Mark Caputo reports that the Trump campaign actually saw another joke where the comedian called Kamala Harris the C word, and I'm talking about communist, not talking about communist, I'm talking about the vulgar C word. Right. They said, out, you're taking that out. But they didn't see the joke about Puerto Rico being an island of garbage or Hispanics not using any birth control when they have sex. I won't even repeat what he said about that. Or even the black guy saying, oh, there's a black guy in the audience. He was just carving watermelons. I mean, I like you said, it's great in a comedy club, perhaps. I mean, he's got a huge following. Not at a political rally where everybody's there trying to rally votes for Trump. So why did the campaign miss all that? Miss the pimp handlers remark?
I feel like who was doing the screening? Was it Corey Lewandowski? Because it had the feel that someone like Corey Lewandowski was going over the remarks. They are capable of so much more than this. And the #1 goal was to serve Trump, which they didn't. So whoever actually did screen these remarks, if indeed that's true, ought to be removed from the campaign for the next 7 days and just let a grown-up handle this. Because I know that it's mostly men for Trump and women for Kamala, and there's a massive gender gap here. But why lean into it? Yeah. I understand the strategy of going to Rogan, going to Sean Ryan, going to Theo Vaughn, and running up the numbers with the men. That's good. But the men I know, and I know a lot of Republican men, are not motivated by like racist jokes about Hispanics and blacks and sexist comments about women. Yeah, that's going to make me... No, Republicans and right of center people don't tend to be PC. We've all had too much of wokeness, but you got to remember time, place, and manner. And if you go to a comedy club, you know somebody's going to say something offensive and insulting, and part of that is like, oh, that's the nature of being at a comedy show. At something like this, you want to be inspired. You might want to laugh, but you don't want to hit below the belt. And above all, do nothing to make your stupid joke, whether you're the comic or one of the supporting acts, the story. Trump needs to be the story.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.